Good morning, students. Welcome again. Today we will be reading the first non-fiction of your book Kaleidoscope, named as Freedom, and it is written by G.B. Shaw. Let us know about the author G.B. Shaw. He was born on 26th July 1856 at Portobello, Dublin, Ireland. He was died on 2nd November 1950 at Ayotte, St. Lawrence, UK. His books are The Intelligent Women's Guide to Socialism and Capitalism, My Fair Lady, and he won the awards, that is Nobel Prize in Literature and Academy Award. So these are the awards and books of his famous writings. Now let us see more about the lesson Freedom. The introduction. George Bernard Shaw uses his radio broadcast to tackle the theme of freedom without confining the theoretical jargon. A believer and proponent of democratic socialism, Shaw condemns the devices of the elite and the rich who foster the environment of false freedom and enslavement of the poor and underprivileged. Means there are two different types of freedom. Means in the name of freedom, poor are given the right to vote only, and the people whom they select, they just take advantage of that specific freedom. So let us see more about its introduction. However, behind his humor lies the satirical Gentiles mint of the existing social condition and scheme of power. The text of the topic was later produced as an essay. So G.B. Shaw has given a different meaning of freedom that we will come to know in this non-fiction. Let us see the summary of the non-fiction named as Freedom. Shaw says that a person who can do what he likes, when he likes and where he likes, or do nothing at all if he prefers, it is truly free. But there is no such person, and it is not possible to be like that, because we have to do what is necessary, like sleep, travel, etc., whether we are monarchs or humble laborers. So here, according to Shaw, he just says that freedom means a person who can do whatever he likes, and when he likes and where he likes. Means the place, the thing must be of the person's choice, then only the person can be called free. But this is not possible at all for the kings as well as the laborers. Let us see. We have to do our natural jobs plus other jobs for provision, food, shelter, clothes, etc. All these materials necessities can be stolen. So, in fact, if we can steal honey from bees or enslave a horse for transportation, then we can also make other. Many women and children do our work by force or fraud on trickery of any sort of and religion. He debunks the conventional wisdom about freedom held by those who think that such a social order in which slavery is a necessary component. So, G.B. Shaw says that slavery has become necessary in our society, and the rich people have taken it for granted. Let us move forward. Enforcement of slavery. So, one must be cautious of becoming slaves to other people's whims, and it is governments that should be prevent such imposition. But the real objective of most governments is to enforce such slavery in the name of freedom. Not just that they regulate your slavery, feeding the greed of your masters within limitations. Therefore, chattel slavery is replaced by wage slavery. The choice between one employment is Means here there are two types of slavery. One is chattel slavery and second one is wage slavery. So now it is on the choice of the employment what you want to choose. So this is the view of slavery as per the author G.B. Shaw. Let us move forward and see more enforcement of slavery, like choosing one master over others, even if it is called or glorious time for freedom. If you have grievances, then you can redeem the promised benefits through a vote every 5 years or so. At the election, there is a choice of one rich among the various competing rich, which leaves you no freer than you were before. Means here the people, those who used to vote and select their representatives, they have to select among the rich people only. Then there are the newspapers assuring you that you are what makes you are free citizens in a democratic country, and one is fool enough to believe them. It is nothing but a perpetual cycle of slavery, but with the legal and constitutional sanction. Means with the approval of constitution and law, you are being slaved. Let us move forward. The difference between the natural slavery to nature and the unnatural slavery to man is that nature is kind and it makes a very pleasant, like eating, sleeping, etc. Family and marriage help us realize our dreams. Thus, we relish our natural wants even if we are slaves to them. We eulogize them in songs and celebrate them. Means the slavery that we have chosen for nature, that we celebrate. Okay, let us see submission of slaves. The people who have the power to the master classes do their best to create a sense of false comfort in the minds of those without power. The institutions like parliaments, schools, and the newspaper are leveraged for the purpose. School children are taught about England as the land of the free and the chain of historical accomplishments. The freedom that was earned by the ancestors by forcing King John to sign Magna Carta after defeating the Spanish Armada, and when King William had to give assent to the Bill of Rights of the American Declaration of Independence was made, or when the battles of Waterloo and Trafalgar were won. So what sort of freedom G.B. Shaw talk about, which was earned by the ancestor? Leisure of true freedom. Shaw condemns people who desire more freedom but are satisfied with a vote and freebie. He quotes that Shakespearean character of Lagos who advised his friends to earn money and not spend it to enrich oneself. However, that is not practical with meager wages and bargaining. He says people in England and the world clamor for freedom even without knowing what it means to be free or never having experienced it. Instead, they only understand leisure, which is measured in terms of wages. Therefore, instead of chanting "Rule Britannia," Britain people should ask for more money in return for their labor and earn more leisure that with that money. Means here Bernard Shaw just to tell that people are struggling for the freedom but they don't know the actual meaning of freedom. Okay. However, the police will not allow you to die at your employer's doorstep, so you can only starve to death in your own house. If you are lucky to have one by them, then he regards the more extreme form of the strike, the general strike of all workers, as human folly. If it worked, then it will lead to the complete extinction of human race in mere days. The complainants the first to taste death. He goes on to do some mathematics of work. He says the one works for 12 hours a day cannot ever have freedom. One who works 8 hours a day gets 4 hours of freedom, but with the limits of the laws. Money and health. Even then, there are natural limitations of body and needs rest, so you hardly get any free time to entertain your sense or enlighten your mind. So, these all the conditions Bernard Shaw has put that to have freedom, people accept subservience to when they accept the seeming superiors as their lords. This legitimizes enslavement and perpetuates the privilege of the rich and handsome. No time to enjoy freedom. This G.B. Shaw puts forth. Shaw sums up his arguments: one can never be truly free, as nature demands half of one's day for good health, sound mind, and recovered body. For the next half, you have to work for yourself or somebody else to earn your livelihood. So, here Shaw wants that person must have the time to enjoy, and he or she must spare time for that. He asserts that slaves are indispensable when it comes to running a society, and uses the example of Greek philosopher Aristotle and use of slaves for governance. In a government setup, there exist a few privileged persons must exude a sense of superiority or an aura around them. This aura is consciously constructed by making them look smarter, stronger, special, in control. From their attire to their lifestyle, they have numerous slaves at their beck and call to do errands. Such splendor and grandeur make them worthy of obedience and even worship. So, this special class of people requires the creation of a nation of slaves. People accept subservience to when they accept the seeming superiors as their lords. This legitimizes enslavement and the privilege of the rich and handsome. So, here G.B. Shaw says that few people are having privilege from the god to have the superiority and to enjoy that superiority in the society. A plea to common intelligence, Shaw reflects on his own text and decides to dilute in preaching what he believes. He stated that he does not court controversies, advises the listeners to exercise intelligence with his text, otherwise, there may be unintended and undesirable conclusions drawn. He asserts that slaves are indispensable when it comes to running a society, and uses the example of Greek philosopher Aristotle and use of slaves for governance. In a government setup, there exist a few privileged persons must exude a sense of superiority or an aura around them. This aura is consciously constructed by making them look smarter, stronger, special, and in control. Here, Shaw says that he does not want to be indulged in any kind of controversy. He just wants that people must know the actual meaning of freedom. Thus, past injustice is repeated and becomes inherently accepted in the system. The disprivileged can't accept the discriminatory treatment quietly, but if they give voice to the resentment, they get the long arm of the law enforcement. Additionally, there are always a few brown-nosed and corrupt officials who are experts in quelling dissent. If they dream of being rescued by some Napoleon genius, then they might as well say goodbye to their freedom, as empires do not bend to popular will. So the enslaved reluctantly plead their allegiance to the master, even though even a fair chance they would vote empathetically against the unjust system. So here Bernard Shaw just tell that what the other corrupt official take advantage. The dissenter to the established truth are told that the doles like the Factory Acts and the Wage Board, free education and the New Deal are more than the people deserve. The justification is made by telling the poor that the rich are taxed almost half of their incomes, even though it is the poor pay as much their wages for rent. Plus, they have to work every day. Whenever renowned writers like Voltaire and Rousseau, Shelley, or Karl Marx write on such impositions, their works are made inaccessible. If people seek a revolution, the country declares war on them and recruits the other powers to hands in the exercise of enslavement. Fights with the tyrannical empires and fights against the revolutionaries. They, Britain, joined hands with such a state at the War of Waterloo, and the victory was declared a win triumph for British freedom and British wage slaves. So, here in this chapter, you all might have understood the meaning of slavery, the meaning of freedom, and the actual meaning how to enjoy a freedom. This is according to the author G.B. Shaw. So I hope you all have understood it. Thank you and have a nice day.